right, everyone. We are here with another Real News Election Day special, 2020 election special here. I know I was kind of in and out yesterday, so I'm still a little tired because I was up till freaking like 3:30 a.m. with you guys too, watching this election and also tracking it. But man, is this a crazy election, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's taken some twists and turns I think some people didn't expect. I certainly didn't expect Trump to lose Wisconsin and Michigan. Those are going to be contested, but and there's going to be a recount in Wisconsin. That is the big story today, though, is where we're at, the pathway for Trump to win. Oh, as you can see on Fox right now, this is what Bill Stepien, campaign manager, said today. I was actually on this call with him. He says, we're declaring a victory in Pennsylvania. It's not based on gut or feel. This is based on math. We're very positive that the president and vice president will get a victory in Pennsylvania. I will say, last night I went to it very confident. I came out of it confident. And then when I woke up and I saw that Biden was ahead in Michigan and Wisconsin, I got very nervous. I got very nervous. And I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. I was anxious and angsty, and I had to get to the office to get to it. But I still did believe that Trump would win Pennsylvania, and I still believe that now. Do you think he's going to win Pennsylvania?
I think there's a good chance he will, but I mean, I'm concerned with all these mail-in ballots. Like that does have me a bit concerned. So I don't know.
Well,
Um, we'll
I
have to
think
see.
I think we need to think of like we'll dive into the mail ballots in a second, but we need to consider Trump's path to victory first because in Pennsylvania, well, actually, we can talk about two of these at the same time because they kind of tie into each other. So, mail in ballots. They're being counted in Pennsylvania now. All the in person was done on election night, and now they're counting mail ins. So, that's why it's taking forever to hear those results. And that's why Pennsylvania still has a lot left. And it's also why you're seeing Philly, the cities, and all that still coming in. Now, as they bring up the map on here for 270, Trump's going to win Georgia. He's going to win North Carolina. In Pennsylvania, and this is what Bill Stepien was talking about today, is that Trump is going to win Pennsylvania mathematically. Biden has no mathematical chance of winning at all. Let's move in the air chat for in case Sam comes in actually.
Yeah.
So the thing that I was saying though is that Biden has no chance of winning right now at all. He simply doesn't in Pennsylvania because I gotta mute this because I can't talk over people. So the reason I'm saying that is because if you look at the votes left in Philly, and let's say Biden gets those, he would need to get like 80% in Trump country in the remaining counties in Pennsylvania to win. He's not gonna get that. Trump is going to win Pennsylvania. Is it gonna be tight? Yes. Pennsylvania is always tight, but Trump is going to win Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but it's not going to be enough.
That's where we get to the next part. So, and this is where it gets really complicated. Hey Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing well, just working on some homework.
Still a college student.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel. Well, do you guys get off early? Like I know Penn State is like right after Thanksgiving. They're off for like 8 weeks, and then they come back on in January.
No, no, we we like have Thanksgiving off, and then we have like 2 more weeks after.
Oh shoot, yeah, you guys are doing it that way, still doing it that way. But Florida big win last night, and big win with Hispanics too. But we were just talking about Trump's path to 270 because it's really, really narrow right now. And they just brought up the map here. So, look, Trump's going to win Georgia. He's going to win North Carolina. He's got to win them. Pennsylvania, he's got to win. He's going to win those. So, what's it down to? It's down to 2 states. It's down to Arizona and Nevada. Nevada is traditionally blue. That's a tougher path, but he's only currently down by less than 8,000 votes. It's very close. Nevada could still be possible. It would get him to 270. If Biden wins Nevada, he's got 270. So since Nevada leans blue, that means Trump has to win Arizona. I think this race is going to come down to Arizona. If it doesn't, it's going to come down to Nevada or Pennsylvania, because Arizona might be counted first before Pennsylvania. But Arizona, to me, is the state that it all comes down to, because Fox was really quick to jump on this state and call it for Biden way early, way before a key county was counted. A lot of other key counties. So I'm going to pull up the stats for Arizona. But if you look at Arizona, this state, okay, we all know Mark Kelly won. We all expected that because Martha McSally's shit. But, and this is the big but with Arizona, if you look at the numbers, the difference between Trump and Biden right now is only around less than 70,000 votes. Okay? It's tight. There's a lot of room. Maybe not, you would say. But here's the thing. Only 86% of it's reported, which means there is over 500,000 votes still to count. I think it's a little less now, but it's about 500,000 votes still need to be counted. Okay? But where are these 500,000 votes coming from is what's important. They're mostly coming from this county called Maricopa County. That's where Phoenix is. That's a county that Trump won with 57% last time in 2016. Trump needs to maintain that 57% majority in Maricopa County, and he wins Arizona. This county is very MAGA, but of the 500,000 remaining votes, those are also coming from rural areas, which means Trump can do well here. He can still win this state. It is not 100% called for yet. Fox jumped the gun. New York Times didn't, and other news outlets didn't as well. And if you look at this state, there is still a chance of Trump winning. They're counting their, and these aren't just 500,000 random votes. These are 500,000 in-person votes. In person. And also drop-off ones where you fill out like a mail-in, but you drop off at County Board of Elections instead of mailing it. So this is like a very in-person pool of votes, which leans Republican in a red state. It's very good. On top of that, they are releasing these in batches. It's really stupid. Normally they just, it gets counted live. The first batch came at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight. We're supposed to be getting another one around midnight. I'm still waiting on it. But Trump, again, needs 57%. You want to know how much of the vote he got in the first batch, about 70,000 votes?
How many?
57.7%. He's on track to hopefully win Arizona. He's on track. Will he? That's going to be I think it's the biggest question in this election, is who wins Arizona. Because as one that Biden turned to Wisconsin and Michigan, he turns to Arizona. That scares me. I'm scared of Arizona. Bill Stepien, Trump's campaign manager, confidently says we're going to win PA. He's right. He also says we're going to win Arizona by 30,000 votes. I don't think it's going to be that big. But I start off this day nervous until I crunch the numbers in Arizona. I posted a great video by Steve Cortez that breaks this down, how Trump can pretty much, I don't want to say easily win Arizona, but has a pretty clear path to winning. I think he's going to pull off Arizona, and that's how he wins. I don't think he gets Nevada. I think he gets Arizona. We'll see, though. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I haven't been really paying that much attention after I saw that like this stuff's still being hotly contested. Honestly, you know, I hope he does, and I hope that those lawsuits come in. I hope that some of this stuff gets taken into account. I hope it goes to Supreme Court, and I hope that he wins whatever lawsuits he puts out there because he does have that majority now in the Supreme Court.
And oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I mean, what I was thinking during this whole thing was thank God for Amy Barrett. Like, if these never Trumpers had their way, we wouldn't have her as backup. We wouldn't have the Supreme Court with 3 conservatives as backup to save this election. But thankfully, we do.
Yeah, Sam, you have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I haven't been following it much either, just because like it just makes me so nervous, right? So like the more I look at it, like the more nervous I get. But I have been paying attention like a little bit, but not, I haven't been glued to it. Um, to me, it seems like Arizona is the new Florida
I
of
agree.
like, okay, in the year 2000, Florida, and that's ironic because I live here, like Florida was the big contested state in 2000. Well, we got Florida, but now Arizona is that's like that's the big battleground now. And it's interesting because um my friend Johnny Arcade, who is one of the guys who's one of the conservative YouTubers that does like a lot of Owen stuff, he actually lives in Arizona, and he was saying that like, and he's one of these really blunt guys. He said there are a lot of Trump supporters, but he said there are also a lot of Biden supporters. It's not like Florida where there's a sea of red, and it's not quite like New York where there's a sea of blue. It's very mixed, especially in Maricopa County.
Yeah. And what's important to remember about Arizona is that this state's changing. It is not a safe Republican state. It's getting bluer. It's getting more Hispanic. It's changing. Republicans need to adapt to that. And what I think the best thing to come out of this election is that Trump is gaining with Hispanics big time. If you look at the exit polls, which I've been obsessing over the past few hours, Trump has had a 4-point increase in every single non-white group. Hispanics, well, actually, let's start with blacks. Blacks, he went from 8% to 12%. Big. That's huge. That's a huge percentage in change of the black vote, proportionally. Hispanics, he went from 28% to 32%. With Asians, he went from 27% to 31%. He's doing great. And this is why these results make no sense. That is what was baffling me and making me so nervous the entire morning, was these results made no sense. He's gained among every group, maintained his white base of 57%, and grew in every single demographic. And yet, he lost Michigan. He lost Wisconsin. He lost states he should never have lost. And if you look at Michigan, after we went to bed and we woke up, there are hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots that went for Biden 100% out of one area.
I think that needs to, that there definitely needs to be an investigation into that, because that just seems like fraud to me.
It's totally impossible. It's impossible. You cannot, in one county or one precinct or one district, just get 100% of one person's votes. It does not happen. It is statistically impossible. You could be in the reddest part of Texas or the bluest part of California, and it simply wouldn't happen. It's bullshit. Look, if Trump I'm convinced. I think we said this before. If Trump loses this election, it's because it was stolen from him. There's no way he would lose a fair and free election in 2020. I know what some people are going to say. You sound like the Hillary people. You sound like Democrats. No, this is different. We're not ignoring the rallies. We're not ignoring the energy, the voter reg numbers. Look, it just doesn't make sense at all. Like, are you guys getting the same feeling too that I am, that this just doesn't make sense? Everything makes no sense.
What really gets me what really gets me nervous, and this is one of the things that was making me nervous over the past few weeks, was exactly what you're talking about, with like all these mail-in ballots showing up like 100% for Biden. And look, I'll admit, I didn't go to the polls. I voted early. Now, what I did was I made sure that my stepdad actually like physically dropped off my mail-in ballot, like physically to the place, which is what we all did in the family.
That's what I did.
But like that just, that makes me wonder, like, luckily we're in Florida and we have like a conservative elections, commissioner, so it's different here, but like, what if I were in, Arizona, right? And I voted for Trump early. Now I would have to, wonder, well, shit, did my ballot get counted, or did it get, altered or just thrown out altogether?
Well, you can check that online, at least in PA. I checked mine. It says vote recorded. When you look up your name, birth date, and county, it will show if your ballot was recorded. Now, of course, you do have to believe it and take it at face value. But in Arizona, again, this is why Arizona, I think I'm very optimistic about, because they've already counted their mail-ins. They were able to do that early. They're counting their in-person and their drop-off ones now. The drop-off ones are what you did, Sam, where, yeah, you get the ballot early, but you drop it off at County Board of Elections. That's what Republicans are going to do. If they're going to go by mail, they're going to do that, or they're going to go in person. I'm so confident. Well, I'm not super confident for Arizona. I'm still a little nervous, but I'm way less nervous than I was 12 hours ago or whatever it was. And I was just like literally losing my mind. But did you see Miami? How Trump did in Miami, Sam?
Yeah, he did really well.
He did amazing. He went from like in the 30s to in the high 40s, like 46%, I think, 45%.
Yeah, something like that. That's what Shapiro said.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Ben Shapiro, did you guys see his tweet last night that was trending on Twitter?
No, I didn't see that.
So when Trump spoke about, hey, I've won, and the Democrats are trying to steal this election, that's basically what he said, which is how we all felt. It's not like Trump was out of tune with his base or anything. Like, he was in tune. It's all how we felt. Ben Shapiro tweets, it's really irresponsible of Trump to be saying all this stuff.
Well, Ben explained that today, and I do kind of agree with him. Trump might have said, instead of we won, we think we won, or I don't know, because that just gives the left, like, more ammo to say, oh, he's rigging it or something like that. So I don't know.
They're gonna say that anyways. Let's be real.
And the thing is, Biden said he feels good, like that he won. So if one guy's saying he's won, what's the other guy supposed to say? Yeah, I guess we're gonna lose, guys. Like, I think Benji is like looking at little weird technicalities. It's like, who gives a shit? It's like,
Yeah, but at least he's on the Trump train now.
yeah, but he's not on it genuinely, and that's what I don't like about him. It's like, did you see Candace Owens is now with Daily Wire?
I did.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she went from Turning Point to Prager U to Daily Wire. It's like,
Well, I think Prager U is actually merging with Daily Wire, from what I understand.
oh really?
Yeah,
Ugh. Well, I know Daily
which
Wires. They still are connected to Ben Shapiro, aren't they?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Both Prager U and Daily Wire are run by. Well, I shouldn't make that joke, but uh,
I know what
I
you're gonna say.
yeah, I should be able to, but the YouTube
It's the same.
censors.
It's the same target audience. So it's kind of what you're getting at, though, right? So I'll listen to
Yeah,
like Dennis Prager on fucking like the new or the radio, and he does seem like pretty similar to Ben Shapiro in a lot of ways, more than just what they were on the top of their head.
I'd actually met I actually met Dennis Prager like a long time ago when I was I, like a little kid. Um, my parents want my so we're not Jewish, but he came to a synagogue once in Denver to talk about how Israel is
Our greatest ally.
pretty much how, yes, Israel has made mistakes, but they're better than like radical Islam. And keep in mind this is like in 2004, 2005. So, the Middle East, the wars in the Middle East were like still hot on everyone's mind. And like obviously as I've gotten older, some of my opinions have changed, and I think everyone's have to some extent. But
Mhm.
what I will say is like Prager has like a much more he he's a lot more uh genuine, and like he takes time to really explain his points, whereas like Shapiro, the biggest problem I have with Shapiro is just he's kind of off-putting. It's like he's preaching at you rather than like trying to talk to you. But
I can understand. Like, no, I agree with that. Like, I can tolerate Dennis Prager. Like Ben Shapiro, not so much. Like, I actually enjoy listening to Prager on the radio.
yeah,
But like Ben Shapiro, like like look at his freaking titles for his like videos. Like, I mean, he tries to be like like trigger people, but with the most milk toast shit. It's the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen.
He's trying to be edgy, but he's not edgy at all. He's like pseudo edgy.
Yeah, yeah, it's like you go and sharpen a butter knife.
It's probably what you have to do in
You
Britain.
know, oh jeez, yeah, that's fucked up. Oh man, that reminds me when I was in like high school. There were these kids, and this guy tried to go and sharpen one of those like knives they give you in school for like the butter, like the little plastic ones that were
Mhm.
serrated. The dude literally made it like less sharp by fucking sharpening it because he ripped all the serrations off. Like, it's some idiots. He thought he's badass.
What was he gonna do with it? Like just stab people?
I don't know. He thought he was some edgy kid. Like, I didn't know anyone at that lunch period I was in.
Mhm. Did you sit with him a lot?
Well, until I like realized these people were like really fucked up and I left. And then like the one person like smacked me in the hallway, and then the other person like said I punched, like he bit his cheek like on the inside of the cheek, and so much it was like looked like I punched him in the face. He went over to the principal, said I punched him in the face. I'm like, what? And then like they looked at like where we were, because I was like on a separate, like I would have been on a separate floor, and there was like no eyewitnesses, and he ended up like writing me an apology letter.
Yes.
Like that was my first time I really dealt with like, false accusation. Like thankfully the logistics of that were screwed up. I don't know, his like there were some really weird people with that group, and I was like kind of scared of those people, but I was like a freshman, so I didn't really know what to do. Like the one guy was like this, like there was something mentally wrong, I think, with quite a few of those people in that group. But like the one dude was sort of like a special needs like neo-Nazi. I think he may have been the guy who was sharpening the knife.
You
And
just
then
said
like,
he's a special needs neo-Nazi.
yeah, it was something else. Cause he'd always like say, certain words, which I'm not gonna say on YouTube. And he was like, if he was alive in Nazi Germany, he probably would have been like on the first train to Auschwitz. Like there was significantly stuff wrong with him. Then he had this like, I don't know, there was some like really ugly looking girl who would like hang around there, and like she was like a slut because like all of she was pretty easy, I guess. And I never want anything to do with that. But like she'd brag about like how she bangs all these people because like I guess she was the easiest person in the whole school just because she wanted to go, and like she didn't care. And she probably had something wrong with her too. And she like followed my one friend into like the men's bathroom, and then he like fucking had to hide in the stall. This person was like stalking her. Yeah, it was some pretty bad times.
You
And
should
then
have called it
eventually
sexual harassment.
I eventually found another group of people, and like I think like my lunch period changed or something halfway through the year, and I got the fuck out of there. So that was pretty bad.
It wouldn't be the first time we tried to avoid bad crowds.
Yeah, no, like shit, man. Like high school is just such a different place. Like middle school had its issues, but like you'd have all these like upperclassmen in high school, and like they would do some really just off the wall shit.
Even in
Like my
college, we
first
met
stake
some
on the
crazy
middle school.
people.
Oh yeah.
Are
no,
you on a
that's true.
delay?
What?
Are you delayed? Because every time I talk, it like seems like you're delayed.
I don't think so.
No, I guess not anymore. I was saying like it reminds me of a particular group we avoided at Penn State.
No, yeah, no, I heard that. Yeah. Now these people were like, see, that's the thing though. Like at least at Penn State, you can kind of choose your associations more so than you can like in like college and middle or not college, like high school, middle school, and like forced government education school.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to sit like you don't have to go and take a lunch. You can choose, like if you want to, you go to high school, not talk to anyone but like people you had group assignments with, and that'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I loved about college. You weren't forced to be anyone's friend. But yeah, no, that's I just kind of found that interesting. A little bit of a tangent, but it's fucking true.
Yeah. What else I want to talk about? Because we talking about, I think the map's gonna end up being Trump. By the way, Trump's gaining a little bit of ground in Nevada. He's only down by like a little over 6,000 votes. I forget what it is, or close to 7,000, something like that. And I still think he's going to win Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and then I think the last state he's going to win is Arizona. If not, he's going to get through Nevada, which I think is less likely, but Arizona's still in play. We need to stop calling it, uncall it. It's still in play, guys. There's still 500,000 votes to come in from Trump country.
Yeah, no, I hope he does. Like, and here's the thing. Like, imagine that Nevada was probably really fucked up by the coronavirus, like lockdowns. So I'm thinking that maybe that'll give him the edge, because if you look at each person's plan, like, Biden's gonna wanna. We'll probably go the way of fucking the UK
Mm-hmm.
if we have Biden, and like if we have Trump, it'll probably be, it won't be too bad. Like it'll more or less be up to the state. So that's what I'm hoping for.
See, that's where I would like. I hear some people saying that the reason is losing is because of COVID, and I think, well, I really don't believe that because when he first came out in front of COVID, he said, "Okay, we need to lock down because we don't know what the hell this thing is, so let's just do it to be safe." And we did that, and then he's like, "All right, guys, well, we figured it out. We have some treatments. Now let's get back to work." And then that's when people freaked out. But people in the rural states, in these suburban moms, these working class families, one, they like. I'm so tired tonight. They like their stimulus checks, and now Trump is reopening the economy so they can bring their business back. So small businesses should love it, and for some reason, Trump's losing states with all these people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those mysteries, I guess. I don't really know how that really is happening. Like people can act weird, you know. I don't know. I mean, it's honestly, and I'll say this again. I said this last night, or I've said this a few times. If it wasn't for coronavirus, this wouldn't even be fucking close. Like that's the only thing that I feel like really threw a wrench in this whole thing. Not just because of Trump's response, but because of all this like super mail-in ballot stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and the mail-in thing is, it should be very well protected. It should be fine, but that's where I'm worried about Nevada is that they have, I don't know if it's the universal mail-in or if it's like the second closest thing to that, but they don't have a very secure mail-in voting system in Nevada. They're not as strict as Pennsylvania and other states, so. But what's good with Arizona is that all the mail-ins are counted. We're just going through in-person ones now, so Arizona's the one to watch. This race is going to come down to Arizona or Nevada or Pennsylvania. I think it's really going to come down to Arizona because if Trump wins Arizona, it's done. He's got it because he's going to win Pennsylvania, and then that'll be the main focus for the end. But thankfully, I was checking the numbers, and our work, I guess, paid off because we, in Lancaster County, York County, and Lebanon, we had a huge increase in Republican turnout. But the Dems had an increase in turnout, but we had an increase in turnout too. So we did it.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is gonna be a spooky one.
Yeah.
I feel too like if some of that Hunter Biden stuff came out a little bit earlier, that would have been pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a fucking travesty. Cause I'm sure, that would have been helpful.
Yeah. And I knew this race was going to be tight state by state, but I thought with Trump would pull off a lot of these states. But it's coming down to Arizona. That's the big one. Trump has got to win it, or else he's got to win Nevada. But he's got to win one of those two. So I hope he pulls through in Arizona. I really, really do. Because could you imagine living with President Biden?
I hope he gets, dude. It'd be fucking amazing if he got Nevada though. Like, let's be real, because I could almost see that happening, just because like, of how bad like they've been fucked up by the coronavirus.
I think we're getting some ballots out of Arizona. Conflicting reports. Somebody's gonna tell us something.
Or what happened? It was doing that voice thing.
They're giving us updates on Arizona.
I hope to God.
Yo, is that Cernovich's crowd? Yo. There's protests outside of Arizona records office. I think it's one Cernovich.
There were hundreds. And what happened was we were sitting there waiting to do a hit for your show. To give you
Yeah, they're
an
Cernovich. They're
example, in
Cernovich.
Maricopa County.
Yes.
However, we were approached by an elections
Yes.
official who said they were shutting the building down
That's
for safety
awesome.
purposes. They needed everybody out now. So all of the crews had to break down, and we were all escorted out by sheriff's deputies to our
Yeah,
cars.
I mean, now's the time,
I
you know,
can tell
fucking
you
Republicans,
the
time to go and
frustration
start
in the crowd
protesting.
was
Yes.
incredibly
Democrats
evident,
do that the whole time
and
Black
you
Lives
could
Matter.
hear them
Let's,
yelling chants.
you know,
Toward
they can do it. I don't see why we
They're very
can't.
frustrated that the Fox News
Yeah,
channel,
because
this is
Cernovich, Ali,
by this decision,
and I think if you have Scott Presler, our boy, all organized a Stop the Spread protest in Nevada and Arizona.
was too
So this
soon.
is really
So
cool.
there is frustration. The crowd says they are coming back tomorrow as they count in Maricopa
Yeah,
County.
I'm streaming the audio out from
So
Fox
we
because
will
somebody on the
bring you
phone is giving a
latest,
report.
but our crew's safe, and so are other members of the media.
Okay, Alicia, really quick.
See, and this is what
before we cut
I've
off,
been
just to
worried
be
about
clear,
too.
We were expecting another tranche of
Is
votes around
oh wait,
1 a.m. Eastern, so in about another
they're
10
giving us
minutes
an
or so.
update.
Does that work continue? Do you think we'll get anything more tonight?
According to the elections officials, as we were leaving, they said the count will continue. They will shut down for the evening once that is complete. At 1 a.m. Eastern, another dump of data is supposed to be released, so look for that.
Okay, we'll check back with you, Alicia. Thank you. More
Okay,
news on that. Those
they were
numbers next.
supposed to get a dump at 1 a.m. of more ballots, more results, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get that this time.
What?
They're still counting them, so we might, or we might not, but they're still counting them. Oh god, there's this ad for like a Santa Claus, like a meet and greet with Santa. I'm not making this up. He had a fucking like plexiglass like shield in front of him, and the kids ran up to like the glass, like as if they were at the zoo, and like tapped on it and waved to Santa. And then he had like a plexiglass shield on his face, like going all the way down his beard.
Yeah, I just can't wait till this fucking thing's over. Dude, if Trump wins, man, we should go and have a fucking party somewhere.
We need to.
Go and do a fucking party, 'cause, man, it's probably the tightest race.
It's stressing me
Yeah.
out, man. Dude, I was literally feeling stressed. Like literally I felt my body like crushing together.
Yeah, man, I was like, I couldn't get to sleep. Like, my fucking chest was pounding. I don't know, man. It was, you know, like literally everywhere I look, it's like, oh, election this, election that. I was just like, dude, I don't want to hear that right now and get the fuck to sleep. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm already starting to get really tired right now, but this Arizona thing is going to be wild. Like I said, this is going to be the state to watch. And you already seen protests, you already seen people getting pissed off. And this is what was scaring me this morning, is that if Trump lost, everybody on the right would say it was stolen from him. That's what they would say. Trump would say it. All his supporters would say it. They're already saying that they're trying to steal it. And look, we all know Republicans aren't ones to loot, riot, and steal. But if this election was stolen from him, MAGA people would be pissed the fuck off. I don't want to say there'd be a civil war, but there would be a violent season. There'd be a season of violence. And I don't know what it would look like. I don't know who would be targeted at, but it would be ugly, divisive, and violent time after this election. Because this is so close. It's giving people Bush v. Gore vibes. It feels very, very shady. And Project Veritas, by the way, has a new video out from Michigan because they've been investigating this shit. And James O'Keefe tweeted, Michigan at USPS, whistleblower details directive from superiors. Backdate late mail-in ballots are as received November 3rd, 2020, so they are accepted. Separate them from standard letter mail so they can hard stamp them with yesterday's date and put them through. So they're improperly postmarking ballots. Ballots that come in past the deadline, they're postmarking before the deadline in Michigan.
Yeah, that needs to be fucking investigated.
That's voter fraud. That is clear and cut voter fraud.
And like, let's be real, you know, it's easy. Like, this has probably been the easiest election to vote like I've ever seen. You know, the only reason this stuff's coming in now is because there's fraudulent activity. Like, you had like well over a month to fucking put your ballot in one way or the other. You know, I don't see why it's taking this long unless there's fraudulent activity being done.
Yeah. It's bad. And it's going to be very interesting to I think this election has the most fraud we've ever seen. I really think it's going to be that way. That's going to have the most fraud ever seen in any election in American history. There's nothing that compares to it because there are states and counties flipping that just make no sense. No sense. Like, look at Michigan and Wisconsin. How dramatically they've shifted. It makes no sense. But one thing also doesn't make sense. It's interesting, though, is, and I think I mentioned it last night, Starr County in Texas. This is a county that's blue in Texas, but Hillary won it in 2016 by like 60%. I mean, she killed Trump in that county. Joe Biden's only winning it by 5%. 60 to 5 is huge. Huge. But one thing I noticed, though, is it's a border town. I wonder if Trump's tough immigration policies pushed a lot of people to the right.
I hope so.
Oh, man. It's going to be crazy. Like, my mind was racing this morning. I hope he wins Arizona so badly.
Yeah, I mean, I've woken up with kind of like a nauseous feeling. You know, like the feeling you get like when you have a pit in your stomach.
Mm-hmm. That's how I've been feeling too, is very nauseous until I started looking at Arizona. Gives me so much hope because I thought Trump was kind of screwed for a bit and it was scaring the shit out of me. But I think we still have a chance. And it's going to be one of the tightest elections ever.
Yeah, well, I think Phil was saying yesterday that like the only other times that there's probably close to this amount of fraud would have been during the Gilded Age when they were, you know, you could just literally stuff ballot boxes.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Yeah, you're going to see so many stories of fraud. And look, I'm going to be honest, some of them are bullshit. Like, somebody was sending me some Q shit that was claiming that the real ballots are watermarked and the National Guard looks at them to find the real ones and they count those. One, the National Guard doesn't count ballots. They're busy doing riots. Two, there are no watermarked ballots. That's not a thing. If it was, those ballots would be quadruple the cost. They're just on paper. It's just paper. It's a little thicker than normal, but it's just paper. These cute people, I don't get
Maybe
it.
they do need the maybe they do need to go and figure out some form of like watermarking or something to make, or like maybe put a RFID chip or something in those fuckers.
Yeah, I was thinking is like, it does sound like a good idea. I wonder if we're gonna do something like, you know, I don't want to say voter ID, but something a bit more secure when we go to vote, or way that votes are counted, because this is just some bullshit what we're seeing unfold. We're seeing an election that's trying to get stolen from us.
Well, yeah, like I honestly don't see the problem with the fucking voter ID.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, you know, it's like that's how you know the Democrats aren't a fraud, because they fight so fiercely against using voter ID. Like, I had to go, like, and that kind of scares me. I literally just went down my polling place, said my name, I signed something which apparently they don't need to go and check anymore, and I was fine. Like I could vote. Like I don't like that. I'd love for them to require me to go and show a fucking some form of ID because it's not even like it's a tough thing to do. Like, do you know how hard it is to live in the United States without some form of identification?
Mm. That's very hard.
Yeah, like I mean, you can't go and buy a house unless you have it in cash. Which, if you don't have ID, good luck with that. You can't open up a bank account. You can't buy alcohol. You can't buy tobacco. You can't buy firearms. You can't get a job pretty much anywhere. Like I really don't know any non-fraudulent reasons why they would be against voter ID. Because you literally need fucking ID to do anything. Like even if you want like a fucking Facebook account now, I think they require you to go and use ID.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. I wonder if they could do a thing where you either do like fingerprint or facial scans, like when you go to vote, to kind of sign in, confirm it's you, rather than like signing a little book there that you could easily like force somebody's signature on.
Yeah, and didn't they rule in PA that doesn't even matter anymore?
They ruled that like if the signatures don't match to your voter registration, it doesn't matter. Oh, the replay of Tucker's coming on. All right, Tucker did have a good show tonight. I watched the full thing. He had a good show. Oh man. Yeah, one of the things Tucker was talking about last night that stuck in my mind, I think I brought it up when I was on here briefly, is that he was looking at oh wait, I already mentioned that Board Town. I'm getting tired, so I'm forgetting things, but we'll be on for I guess another half hour maybe, because I don't have to jump out for work. But oh man, dude, this election is nerve-wracking. Why do you think we're seeing such high turnout for Biden? Like really, let's take out the fraud, but if that's your reason, and yeah, and say it, but like, why is this happening? This isn't like Trump. What is this?
You
Yeah,
want to know? Are you asking, or are you asking this rhetorically?
Oh no, I'm asking. I have some ideas, but I really do want to know.
I I would guess it's Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, all of my liberal, friends and family members, the ones that I do have, they think that like Trump is horrible, that he's foul-mouthed, that he says mean things, that he supports, white supremacists, that whole litany. But then they also think, and I can't figure this out, like I can't figure out the logic one bit, but they think that he really botched the response to COVID, and that
Yeah.
because according to them he didn't necessarily listen to the guidelines right away and lock everyone down. He thinks that the coronavirus got way worse here than it should have. Now that's what they're saying. I'm not saying that, but that's what they're saying.
I think that's a fair assessment. Like that coronavirus, a lot of people, they'll go and turn on a headline, oh, this many people died, and they think that the United States is the only place that was, negatively, significantly affected by the coronavirus. And I think that's probably the biggest one I would have to go and say, not to mention that the media has been spreading lies about Trump for so long. And I think they see Biden as, he claims to be like a return to normalcy, and a lot of people are like, they think that if they like Biden, the coronavirus will just disappear.
Yeah, some of them literally think that, even though like not even Biden has said that.
Yeah, I think that that's what I've noticed too. From the people I've talked to that are not voting Trump, they think he's like you said, he mishandled the coronavirus, which it's one of those things that I think no matter what he did, you can always say he shoulda, coulda, woulda. And looking back, I think he overall handled it the best he could. I think he did a great job. The only thing I think he messed up on was the messaging. And I think that's what really hurt him. But other than that, like, you look at other shit, and it's like, I don't see where these people are all coming from. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if this coronavirus didn't happen, I think Trump would have won handedly yesterday. Like, it would have been bigger than Hillary. Like, the differences.
Yeah, I tend to think so, and that's why I was predicting, but I honestly don't know if it would have been that much different.
Well, I think if we didn't have the coronavirus too, there wouldn't be nearly as many mail-in ballots. So we would have been able to go and get a result much quicker. And then because right now too, it's like no one's thinking about how great the economy was, before coronavirus, because coronavirus fucked that all up. Like, it really kind of threw a wrench in the chain.
Yeah.
Because economy was probably his greatest contribution.
Absolutely.
Because it was absolutely like an amazing economy, but it's not happening right now due to stuff that was well outside his control. Now, could he have handled things differently? I don't know, perhaps, but either way, like, you still see Europe, like, there might be less people, dead in Europe, but on the other hand, you have a bunch of other issues, like, you're locking down for crazy amount of time, and I think what Trump did was probably the best compromise. He let the states make their own decisions.
Yep.
But people don't see it that way. They're like, oh, well, Trump should have done something. Well, that's really not his responsibility. It should be up to the states to make that choice.
Yeah. And I think that's where I think if these governors were up for their races, I think it would have changed the dynamics of this race, but I don't get what's going on in Michigan. Michigan's really weird, because Michigan is very much like Pennsylvania, but even more blue collar, even more rural, even more working class. So you would think if he wins Pennsylvania, he should win Michigan, but we're not seeing that, and I don't know why. I really don't get it. And Biden was the one saying, "Oh, I'm from Scranton. Oh, I'm just like you. I'm so Pennsylvania," and he's not winning the state. Like I said, what is going on here? None of it makes sense at all. And so I think part of it's fraud, but I think there's something else going on. I don't know what the fuck that something else is, honestly. And I think that is what we need to talk about post this election, is really, because 2016, we kind of knew what was happening fairly quickly. We were able to grasp, like, okay, there's a political realignment. There's a fight with outsiders and insiders. The dynamics are changing, and, politics have changed forever. But now it's like, I don't know what this is about. Like, why are some counties flipping so dramatically?
Yeah, I just think I think most of that, it's COVID. Like, I don't think we would have seen this crazy stuff happening otherwise. We would have probably seen him steamroll Biden, I honestly do think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, it is what it is,
Do we think he's going to win?
I think if it weren't, well, I'll just say this too. Well, never mind. I was gonna say Biden wouldn't be the nominee, but he got the nomination before COVID, so
I was
never
going to say, a
mind.
lot of us didn't think he'd be the nominee. It turned out that's what the voters picked.
I think that some of these
Yeah,
people, they just want to, they probably do just want to go back to fucking before COVID now.
No, they want
And
to go
then,
back before Trump.
yeah.
That's the thing. And you get that from some people that, and I think this is where the realignment's happening. It's what I notice. There are people that vote for Trump because he's a Republican and they hated Hillary so much that they were like, okay, I'll close my eyes and vote for Trump. But there are people, those same people that are now saying, I voted for him, but I don't really fully like it. I don't like his tweets. I don't like his personality. I want to go back to normal. I think that's stupid that anybody would think like that. But I think I don't think it's significant enough that you're getting 100,000 vote difference now in Michigan. But I think that's where the realignment's happening. Is you have your outsiders, your populists, your nationalists on one side. And then on the other, it's all the insiders and people that can't handle Trump. Oh, man. So crazy. And it looks like John James is going to lose his Senate seat. Or not win, or lose his Senate race in Michigan. Unfortunately, he was really close, like 1% away. But it's very crazy. But Arizona is going to be it. Like, I can't emphasize enough how big of a deal that's going to be.
When did they say they were going to have those results in?
Well, they're supposed to have another batch of results coming any minute, but it sounds like they're not gonna. I'm gonna keep Fox on here if they do a Fox News alert. That's what they'll be reporting. I'm gonna check Twitter. If we don't hear anything by 1:30 p.m., I'm probably gonna shut this down because I just got all of a sudden really, really tired. I've been forcing myself to stay awake.
I will say this. It's interesting that you say that the people who voted for Biden want to go back before Trump. That's an interesting observation because that was kind of the same reason why the Romney voters voted for Romney in 2012. They wanted to go back to the George W. Bush era before Obama.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem. Obama changed things. You're not going to go back to a pre-George Bush era, and I can tell you this: no matter who wins, there's no way we're going back to a pre-President Trump era, if that makes sense. Like politics has changed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's changed. And that's
for better or for worse.
Yeah. I think the better is that now people have woken up to how corrupt the system is and how much they don't care about them. But I think at the same time, the bad thing that's been happening, and Trump is not to blame for this, but you're seeing in this election, the dividing lines are being drawn so hard now. There is no room for a proper center anymore. There's no room for undecided. There's no room for people that don't vote all the time. It is Democrat versus Republican. Everyone goes out to vote for their guy and get a few new votes. But other than that, it's very divisive right now.
Yeah, honestly, I could see there being, this leading to some sort of conflict one way or the other.
Yeah.
I think that'd be something to watch out for.
You know what they're calling Cernovich's, like, I don't even know if I'd call it a protest, but the thing he's doing at Maricopa County, U.S. Politics Polls tweets that this is how much they smear it. They go, Maricopa County, Arizona, armed pro-Trump group has surrounded vote count station. Like, they make it seem like this fucking, like, right-wing militia pulled up with, like, AR-15s and is holding the voting place hostage.
Oh my god. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I think that's we're going to see more of is just this influence from from fake news, social media, and all this other stuff with elections. Like that's gonna get much worse.
See,
Like
that's what I
bias.
was thinking of too. When I was in the car thinking about this in the morning, that was one of the first things that came to mind was how bad the censorship would get against us, and we'd have nobody in the White House, or the House that could actually do something about it.
Yeah, yeah, that is. Like I think that's gonna become an even bigger part in the future, and I think that's gonna hurt some. It's not gonna be good once we start going down that path, because people have a number of boxes. It's like the soap box, the ballot box, and the bullet box, and you're seeing how that ballot box is going right now. So there's one more box left, and it's not good. And I think, I mean, I know in the '60s it seemed worse, but I think I don't know, like at least in the '60s, like there may have been more like physical action on the ground, but even then, like I don't think most people actually were in those camps. Like you had a few, you'd have radicals on one side or the other, but they were very small. I think now there's a lot more people who are radicalized than the '60s, because like the hippies, they were apart, but they were small. What we have now is, a lot of people getting very upset.
Mm-hmm. That's what were the first few things that worried me. Sorry, I keep closing my eyes. I'm so tired. The first few things that worried me about this race is if Trump loses, Republicans are going to think it's stolen. That makes us more divisive, and that makes us go nuts. And the tech censorship is going to get bigger and badder. And there's going to be nobody there that can even try to stop it. 4 years of Biden genuinely scares me. The more I think about it, I'm like, there's no way we can have this.
Yeah. I mean, the one good thing is I think the Republicans, they can obstruct them at least like the Democrats did to us. And I think that might be another thing that happens. You just get like nothing ever gets done now because everyone's so divided, and your party's not gonna, like, the Republicans will obstruct when they're not in power, and the Democrats will do the same, and you're not gonna see anything get fucking done.
That's if Biden were to win, that's what I think would happen.
I mean, if Trump wins, I think you're gonna have more of the same. It's just gonna be obstruction, 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 and I think that's going to be part of the new politics. People are going to get pissed off, and then that's when things are going to start going down to bad places after a few years of this happening.
Oh man, so crazy. But I keep falling asleep. I'm so bad today. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I mean,
yeah, I mean, so, like, I'm just trying to think, if worst comes to worst and Biden does become president, what do you think the future of the Republican Party will be? Will we ever have an opportunity to run another actual conservative again? That seems to be the $1 million question everyone is asking now.
Well, I think this election, no matter who wins or loses, this is way too tight. And the strategy for this election works, or hopefully we'll find out if it actually works, but for future elections, this is not going to work. This strategy is not going to work. We need to come together in the war room and plan something out, because we can't have any of this crap. again, I mean, it's gonna be a big undertaking, but we need to do it. We need to think of long-term solutions, long-term appeal. The Hispanics are a good inroad, but everything right now seems very short-term. We need stuff that is long-term.
Yeah, I mean that's Republican Party's going to have to really, come in as a force. I think that might be the one good thing of Trump, like the one sort of silver lining.
Yeah, because we can't be doing this again where we lose Wisconsin and Michigan. There's something wrong here that needs to be investigated.
Well,
But
I think, because there's a lot of these people out there who claim to be Trump support, claim to be Republicans, but they hate Trump. So maybe, this would be an opportunity to unify as a party instead of being so internally divisive, and maybe this will knock some sense into those fucking libertarians.
yeah, that's a good idea. I would love to wake them up because it's frustrating. Like we were talking about the office, like the number of people to vote for Jurgensen. It's like so small, but in some states it could be the deciding vote.
Yep, that's gonna be an issue.
Oh, let me check my phone for any updates on Maricopa, and we'll go from there because that is going to be the county.
A lawsuit was filed Wednesday in Arizona against Maricopa County officials and the Board of Supervisors, charging them with instructing voters to use Sharpies that rendered their ballots unreadable. Okay, that seems like something that's bullshit.
The Sharpie thing, I was explained that they already forget it. It's technically a non-issue unless they go on the actual ballot like that, like you're saying.
Well, I thought that's what they were doing. People were signing it with Sharpies or filling it in with Sharpies.
I think afterwards or something like that. I forget. It's something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's unreadable, do they just throw it out or they have someone manually read it?
I think now they don't throw them out. I forget. Yeah, I'm trying. Oh my god, those protests are going viral. Yeah, I'm not getting any updates. Maricopa. Oh god, I'm so fucking tired. But, oh, did we see that Lil Wayne endorsed Trump?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was at his last rally. Or not Lil Wayne, Lil Pump.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's funny. But, oh god, I'm getting so tired. But, like I said, I predict, I'm trying to fucking spell Maricopa. Can't spell it. I'm just going to say that I'm going to predict that I think Trump's going to just win it by getting Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and then getting that Arizona with only a few votes over 270. But Nevada's really tightening. They're talking about Nevada right now big time on Twitter because it's going really tight.
I would love if he won fucking Nevada.
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be fucking amazing. But I don't know.
Where are they calling Nevada? Just check Nevada. Give me 10 minutes. I'm done. Oh, Nevada. Oh my god. Nevada not to announce any additional results until Thursday.
God damn it. Why can't I just pay these motherfuckers to just get this shit over with?
Normally they do. Yeah, Panahi says on Twitter, absurd Nevada's not reporting any counting until tomorrow. Equally absurd is the GOP is not allowed to monitor count of mail-in ballots. Yeah, it's insane. Less than 8,000 votes separate Trump and Biden in Nevada. 25% of the votes still not counted. You know what's shady too is Nevada's one of the ones that has, I don't know if it's a universal mail, but they don't have as much protection, and they don't allow any poll watchers. That's shady.
How is that even legal to not allow poll watchers? Like, there should be a fucking lawsuit about that too.
I don't think they can deny them. I don't think they can, unless it's like a criminal or something.
It's weird to me, of course it is Las Vegas, that, you know, they're slowing, they're slowing the vote counts in Nevada.
Oh my
Right,
God!
I
Outside of the Arizona protest, Mea Culpa, the protesters are chanting, "quote Fox News sucks" outside the voting processing building.
Yeah, they really jumped the shark with that one, you know?
Yeah. What were you saying though, Sam? Because you remind me of that.
It just seems weird that Nevada, which never sleeps, right? Sin City and all that, so
Maybe now they're
suddenly,
sleeping because of COVID.
well, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. It just seems interesting that they're one of the ones to, slowly trickle out, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, the rural votes are not counted yet in Nevada, and also Clark County, of course, which is Vegas. We're looking good. We're looking good, I think. And in Maricopa, it is tightening. Those are already the same numbers. Those aren't new. Oh boy. I saw something on Twitter that was useful. Now I can't find it. Oh my God. Nevada makes me nervous because they could try to steal that one pretty easily.
I must feel like, with federal elections, they should almost have to. I mean, I'm a big fan of states' rights and shit. I feel like for the federal fucking ballots, that should be done universally. Like with the same fucking rules if it's going to affect like federal, shit. So I feel like that would have made things a lot fucking easier, a lot less fraudulent.
Yeah. Oh man, the fraud, it's bad. Oh God, I'm really falling asleep. We're gonna cut this stream for today, but I'm glad we were able to update people on this because it's gonna be a long day and night. Friday we're gonna have more info. We're gonna do another stream tomorrow night and Friday night to update everyone because this is the craziest election ever. It's insane. Biden is only 6 delegates away from winning the presidency, if you believe the Fox numbers, which includes Arizona. But I think Arizona is going to be the thing to watch for. Keep your eyes on it tomorrow and keep your eyes on Nevada. Alright, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we're going to have more tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you up to date. I know I sound low energy and tired. Don't like sounding like this, but this is the state I'm in. Oh my God. But my job is pretty much done. DONE. The majority of it is at the very least. And then once Friday's over, the job is done. We did all we could to keep PA red.
Yeah, that's one good thing from us.
Yep.
God bless everyone.
Take it easy.
Yep, I'm gonna see you guys later.
Adios.
Yep. Have a nice. Oh fuck, see, I'm getting tired. Yeah, I'm not thinking straight. I'm going to see you, the viewers, later. Thank you for tuning in. Have a nice night. And please, as always, wash your hands.